Hello students, today we are going over 8.3 part 2, graphing inequalities, and again this will be in slope-intercept form. This is page 149 in your yellow packet. Okay, our first number 6 right there on day 2, y is greater than 1/2 x. Start axis, I would say 90% of the time you will always start on the y-axis. The only time you don't is when there's no y in the inequality, when it would be like x is less than 5 or something. Start value, that would be what's added, y equals mx plus b. There's nothing added here, so our start value is going to be 0. So we start at the y-axis, this one's the y-axis, this one's the x-axis, at 0. So we're going to go ahead and put a point there. Okay. What is our slope, or m? It's whatever's in front of x, and that's going to be 1/2. Okay, what is the line that you're going to graph? It'll be y equals 1/2 x. Okay, now is the line going to be dotted or solid? So again, it's not or equal to. More ink would be a solid line. So less ink means it's going to be a dotted line because it is not equal to the line. So the dotted line is only our boundary. So it's a dotted line. Our shading, since it's greater than, think of it as a burden on the back side of the graph. So it's going to be above the line. Think of it as where the ladder would fall, and it would be above the line like the roof. Okay, so now here's our line. M is rise. So from our starting point, we're going to rise 1 and run 2. So from here, rise 1, run 2. And I'm going to do that several times so I can make, and I'm going to go back here and also make sure this helps you keep a straight line. Okay, it's going to be a dotted line. Make sure you put arrows at the ends. And we're shading above. So here's the ladder would fall down here. So think of it on the roof. So we shade all of that. Okay, normally I want to test a point. Why don't I test this point, which would be 0, 1. So if x is 0, I'm going to 0, 1. I'm going to test that and make sure it's a solution to the inequality. Is 1 greater than 0 times 1/2 is 0? Yes, 1 is greater than 0, so I know I've shaded the right half of the graph. And you're done with number 6. Now let's go on to number 7. X is less than 4. Okay, so this is one of the few times where the start axis is not on y. It'll actually be on x. And what's the start value? Well, it would be x equals 4, so we put 4 right there for the start value. M is, well, when there's no y, M is undefined. So undefined slope, do you remember what that was? That means it's straight up and down. Okay. So our line is a dotted or solid. It's not or equal to, so less ink. That means it's going to be a dotted line for our boundary. Our shading, it's less than 4. So if we go over to 4 and we say it's going to be a dotted line and we know it's a vertical line, and we say that it's less than, so where do the numbers go on the x-axis? We go 5, 6, 7, 8. So over here is the greater than side. Less than side is going to be over here. So it's shading on the left side of the graph. So right here. And if I wanted to try one, I could say, okay, let's choose 0, 0. There's no y to put in there, so I put in 0 for x. Is 0 less than 4? And the answer is yes. So I've shaded the right part of the graph, which is all this side. Okay. Now I'll do one more and let you finish the rest. I'm going to jump to number 9, just because it's also a little bit different. They actually don't give you a start axis or anything. The 3 things I want you to consider: the line, is it solid or dotted? Okay, if it's or equal to, we know it's going to be a solid line. Again, more ink there means this is going to be solid. Draw the line. You draw the line, whatever this is, you make it equal sign. So y equals 1. If I draw that line, y equals 1, there's 1. Okay, and there's no x. When there's no x, we know that the m, or the slope, is 0. And if it's 0, that's a level field right there. Oh, wait. Oh, yep, it was supposed to be solid, so we're okay. Now, do we shade above or below? Well, this will be 2, 3, 4. So this is going up, and this is going down. 0, 1, 2. It's greater than, oh, wait, it should be at -1. Whoops, I made a mistake here. Let me go ahead and erase that. It's not at +1. It should be at -1. Okay. So it's greater than or equal to, so 0, 1, 2. If it's greater than, it's got to be all of these. If I want to choose a point, I can choose 0, 0. And it says 0. Is that greater than or equal to -1? Yes. So we shaded the correct part, and you're finished. Okay. All right, students, you can get the rest of this. You rock.